Yo, 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 yo. What up, everybody? What up, Tony? What up, Jenna? What's going on, guys? We're back. Episode 3 of the Fantasy Dads. Today we're going to talk about some running backs. Last week we talked about quarterbacks, talked a little bit too much about quarterbacks. We almost tapped out at 2 hours last week, so we're definitely going to try to keep it nice and short and sweet today for you guys viewing us at home. Um, we're going to touch on our top 10s, talk about some sleepers and some busts, some guys who we think is a nice value pick in these drafts that we've been looking at and these mock drafts that we've been doing. A lot of guys' names that are slipping there, going too far in our opinions. And then we got the question of the week coming up in about, 10 minutes. So we'll look for input from that in the chat, and we'll talk about what people have been saying on social media as well. So welcome back. Let's get this going, Kev. How you doing today, bro?
I'm fantastic, buddy. How are we doing?
Oh, fantastic, dude. Another great day of work. And now we're here to talk about fantasy football. Couldn't be better. So let's start off with some news. We'll talk about AB real quick.
A little AB news.
He retires again, Kev. Let's go with that, bro.
I got a notification that said Seattle did a quote deep dive on Antonio Brown, and I don't know what that means, but immediately following that notification, AB goes on a Twitter tirade talking about how he's done it all, and it's time to move on, and he does hashtag Himothy. I don't know what that means. I don't speak Antonio Brown, but sounds like he's retiring again. It's a shame.
This is what, third time?
Third time, I don't know. He was just so good.
It's so sad, man. It really is.
Just fell off. I really don't know if it was the perfect hit, and if he actually has CT or brain damage. But wish him the best.
It's so
I don't
sad.
think he's gonna play in the NFL again.
It's so sad, man. Such a good talent, you know what I mean? And then just to waste it like that, man. It's crazy. It's so crazy to me. He's literally the best receiver in the NFL when he plays at full blown, speed. Like, you can't touch him. The dude doesn't play, comes and plays for New England for one game, goes absolutely bonkers, and then that's it.
Popped off.
You know what I mean? It's like this guy could literally be. I still think he makes the Hall of Fame. I still think he gets considered Hall of Fame. A shout out to Jenna for the extended tier 1 subscription. Thank you very much. But it's sad because, like I said, he's a Hall of Fame receiver, man. To have it go down this kind of a road, it's annoying in a way, because if he gets, so say he plays, Kev, just hypothetically, say he plays, gets signed by, I don't know, we'll say Seattle.
No, Seattle's the one team.
Say Seattle. Yeah, he's got DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. The targets are going to be there. What do you think? You think he's a second round pick?
Yeah, second or third.
I mean, that's where he was getting picked last year.
End up in my top 10 wide receivers. I mean, you kind of have to, right?
Oh, easy.
You have to.
Playing with
Russ?
Yeah, I picked him second round last year in a few leagues. So I mean, it's not. I mean, where did he go in our league last year? He was a second round pick in our league last year. I'm almost positive.
That was when we didn't even know if he was going to play.
Right. So I mean, his talent is through the roof. It's a shame that it's come down to this, but it is what it is. You know what we do, Kev? We move. We move on to the next thing, which is
the next Deontay Johnson is the next one.
Deontay.
Anyway, we're talking about the COVID right now. We just heard today that the NFLPA agreed to no preseason games at all. That's kind of a blow to rookies and borderline guys trying to make a roster.
It's tough.
We were hoping for at least 1 or 2 games, but not looking likely. Also, they put in, I think they said they're going to do testing every day, so that's good. And there's still no bubble, though.
Yeah,
I mean, if it's
you can't do a bubble.
Contained, if somebody gets it, though, that could be it.
Yeah.
It starts an outbreak in the league, and that it's shut down. But as of right now, we know there's no preseason.
It's sad. Because a lot of the preseason games, a lot of people, they don't even watch, but it ain't about that. It's not about us as fans. It's about these young guys, these guys coming off the street, not, undrafted players. They're not going to be able to have that opportunity like they've had in the past to make the team as a special teamer.
It hurts,
it's going to hurt.
Staff.
Yep. It might hurt the game
Can't really
overall, honestly.
can't evaluate the talent. So now I'm thinking the first few weeks of the season might look a little bit more rough than usual.
It might look like the XFL.
Definitely gonna change things a little bit.
You know,
I'm still gonna draft the same way I always draft.
you have to. Well, we'll
The
talk
league's
about
gonna,
that.
It's just gonna be a little different, obviously.
Yeah, you gotta approach certain players a little differently than you would, you know.
Mainly, yeah.
I don't think he can, Tony. That's on me.
But,
Hold on one sec. I can do that real quick for you.
oh yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, you just gotta approach people a little differently now, you know, than you would before. You know, especially the rookies, you know, and the guys battling for jobs. Like we were talking about Cam Newton last week. You know, him and Jarrett Stidham are gonna have that battle in training camp. They're not gonna be able to do live games now. You know, you got the guys in Kansas City and the running backs, Indianapolis. You know, they're everywhere. I mean, even Seattle. You know, this competition's everywhere. You know, and it's unfortunate that we're not gonna be able to see any of that. I wonder what's gonna happen with Hard Knocks. I wonder if we're gonna have that this year.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know?
Since they announced the teams that it was gonna be, we haven't really heard anything. But fortunately, some of these guys went to new teams. They have been working out in the off season with their quarterback. So I mean, I think it's probably going to affect the rookies more than anybody.
Yeah, it's got to. You know, but all right. So yeah, we'll leave the coronavirus where it is for now. So we're ending it right there with no preseason games as of today. So we'll update you guys again next week with that. So now we're going to dive into the question of the week. We're going to do this a little differently than last week. Last week we saved this to the end, but we're going to do this right now. It's going to lead into who we talk about the top 10 because, I mean, these guys unarguably are, I mean, top, I guess some people don't think Zeke's top 3, but I think he's number 2. Unarguably top tier talent in the NFL. I mean, these guys are goated. They're legends already. I mean, Saquon's talent ceiling, as long as he can stay healthy, is insane. Zeke, we all know what Zeke can do. But I asked the people on social media today because, you know, last week we posted it on Instagram. We didn't get much of a response. So I decided to take it to the streets of Facebook to see what we could garner over there on the Facebook wall.
That's some responses, bro.
We did. We got some responses. A lot of people saying Saquon if he can stay healthy, you know, and I understand the Saquon. I get it. I see his talent. I see the ceiling that he has in an offense that would really go through him, you know, whereas in Dallas, Zeke, not necessarily the offense probably won't really go through him, you know what I mean, because they got Dak with the receivers they have over there, phenomenal. However, I just like Zeke's consistency. I mean, every year this guy is a top-tier running back. Last year, Barkley got hurt right off the rip, you know, and that's scary for a second-year player. You know, when you go into year 3, you know, you got to be something you got to be anticipating, you know. So I take Zeke all day over Saquon. I didn't get much backup on that on social media, but if I had to pick today at number 2, I go Zeke over Saquon all day. How about you, Kev?
I'm on Team Saquon.
Team Saquon.
Yeah, I mean he's played 2 years now. Was an absolute freak his rookie year, and then he missed 3 games last year. He played in 13, and he still put up 1,000 yards rushing, had over 50 catches, and he's just a monster. He's an absolute monster, and really is no ceiling. He's gonna catch more balls than Elliott. So in a PPR, I'm taking Barkley.
Is he though?
Of course he is.
I mean,
he caught like the same amount of passes as Elliott did last year, and he missed 3 games.
Yeah, that's true. But I mean, Saquon had a rookie quarterback who didn't have a very good repertoire with his receivers. That's also probably could be a factor as well. You know, Daniel Jones coming back this year. He's got more rep with Sterling Shepard, more rep with Golden Tate, Darius Slayton, Evan Ingram. They got a lot of weapons over there that prove that they can produce. They might not need to go to Saquon as much out of the backfield. Whereas Dallas, Zeke and Dak, they're like...
they want to.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then you're going to be right.
I mean,
But
he had 6 targets, averaged 6 targets a game last year.
yeah,
And I don't think he's gonna go down.
no. What do you guys? What's the chat think? What's the chat think? Let's chat into this. I got Tony says
We need another Zeke fan.
Tony says Zeke. I mean, it's definitely tough. I mean, like I said, a lot of people actually don't even have Zeke number 2 or number 3. They got Kamara. But I mean, I don't know, man. If I were to go into the off season with everything that's going on, and I look at my team, and I'll even say, second pick in the draft. Obviously CMC is gonna go first, and I look at my team, and I got Zeke Elliott as my number 1 running back with that offensive line in Dallas. Yep, exactly, Dishy. With that offensive line in Dallas, it's I don't know. Saquon, a lot of Saquon's plays are self-made. You know what I mean? Like he has to make a lot of plays himself. Which does he?
Because he's a freak.
I agree. Now, I'm not saying you're wrong on that, like at all, at all. And I mean, I want to disagree with you, but you can't really disagree with 2 studs like this. But Saquon makes his plays. Zeke, his plays are there. Like it's gonna happen. Saquon goes out there, he makes plays for himself.
That's kind of my point, though, man. If Zeke's not on the field, we saw it last year when they gave Tony Pollard a shot. They were still good.
No, yeah.
They moved the ball. Pollard looked great. He's still gonna have work this year. When Zeke was out and everyone rushed to get Wayne Gallman, that was a terrible call. Wayne Gallman was terrible. The Giants, they didn't do anything on the ground.
Right.
I mean, Barkley, he's just a freak.
So that doesn't worry you though, getting used too much. Whereas he pushing himself too much as a running back. He's already got injury history in college and in the NFL.
I don't know. I mean, everybody has injury history at this point.
I guess you're right. And then we got the COVID thing. But
Ezekiel Elliott is probably the one running back who's never been hurt.
And
that's it.
And he's also got a chip on his shoulder, man. Listening to all these.
McCaffrey, he's coming in. This will be McCaffrey's 3rd year with a workload that is absolutely unheard of.
And he's that workload. That workload's not going anywhere. And
exactly. Is he gonna hold up? I mean, you can't be afraid of everybody getting hurt. So
I don't know.
I'm on Tony Barkley.
All right.
I just think he's a freak. He's more talented now.
All right.
I think he's more talented than Elliott at this point in their career.
Yeah, I mean,
but you said, he makes the plays himself. He's more elusive. Elliott, he kind of just runs straight. I think he's very good, obviously, but give me Saquon.
Okay. All right, good debate. Let's see what the poll said on Instagram here real quick. We got, actually, pretty lopsided. Saquon got 67% and Zeke got 33%, 8-4. So, I mean, pretty good feedback, actually, compared to last week. So, it's a good start. Guys, if you're out there, go follow us on Instagram. We do all these things at least once a week. We do a question of the week. So, make sure you guys check that out again. So, now we are going to dive in to our top 10, which I'm excited for because I love talking about running backs, man. It's like the most important position in the league. It's usually your first pick in the draft. If it's not, you're usually getting a Michael Thomas or something like that. But so top 10. This is what we got for the top 10 right here. Pretty. I mean, for the most part, it's a little different. I mean, I got guys that aren't in. I mean, you got guys that are in the top 10 that I don't have, like Joe Mixon. I'm not very high on him. And we also got a little asterisk next to Dalvin Cook. That's because he's got a potential holdout coming, but that's not 100% yet. But just in case, we put that little there so we can let you guys know that as well. But we both got McCaffrey number 1. And like I said, Kev doesn't even have Zeke. He's got Zeke at 4. I got Zeke at 2. Saquon 3. Cook 4. But just to talk about Zeke even more, I'll dive into Zeke right off the rip here. Last year Zeke had 1,300 yards and 12 touchdowns. And 71 targets, 50 catches, and 2 touchdowns, 311 points. He's only 25 years old. And this is every year. This is a consistent thing every year. He plays almost every game. I think 2017 he missed 2 games. That was his rookie year. 4th in the NFL in rushing. He's got 12% of the target share in Dallas. That'll probably drop with the addition of CeeDee Lamb. But I mean, I can't see it getting any lower than what 8%. He's still gonna garnish at least 60 targets. And his potential to break out plays, truck people, juke people. I feed Zeke all day. I would be so happy to get Zeke at number 2. That offensive line alone, produces these numbers. It makes him this consistent number 2 running back. Last year he had that holdout. He threatened people for that holdout. I got him in there was one league. I got him at 11. Kev, you were in that league. He ended up being, top tier running back. I think he was number 3 in that league. That's a half point. No, I was standard. That league was still standard last year. So, yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong with Zeke. I love Zeke. I mean, Kev still got him at number 4. It's not like he hates him. Don't get last debate like Kevin's off on the Zeke train. If Zeke's sitting there for you, Kev, at what, 3 or 4, you taking him? Would you take him over Michael Thomas?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's the last running back I take over Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
PPR.
He's my tier 1. Obviously number 2, but he's in my tier 1, which would consist of CMC, Zeke, and Saquon. And I got Kamara leading off with the tier 2. But, yeah, he'd be the last one that I would take over Michael Thomas. And I just look for more consistent numbers again this year. I mean, I think he has a better year, to be honest. I think the run game is going to open up even more with CeeDee Lamb joining the team and Amari Cooper having a year under his belt. And Zeke got paid, man. I mean, they're not going to give him money for him to not produce. They're going to give him just as much opportunity. Mike McCarthy, the head coach over there, that's going to play a part in it. I'm not sure what to expect from that. I'm trying to think back when he was in Green Bay. I don't think the running game was very prolific, but I don't think he had a talent.
You got to remember who he was running the ball with.
Yeah, who was it? Amon Green? I'm trying to think right now.
No, I mean even more recently, Eddie Cheeseburgers, Lacy.
Oh, Eddie Lacy.
James
Eddie
Starks.
Lacy. Yeah. James Starks and Eddie Lacy.
Starks actually was pretty good.
Lacy was too. I mean, he got a contract out of it.
For a year.
So. But now he's got Zeke, so we'll see. I mean, and his backup ain't a slouch either. So, Tony Pollard's definitely a handcuff you got to get if you're taking Zeke at some point, and he showed that last year, popping off when Zeke was hurt. So, yeah, I just a quick prediction for you guys. I got him number 2, so I got 60 targets, 40 catches, just to give you an even number with at least 2 touchdowns receiving the ball, and I got him at 1,500 yards on the ground with 12 touchdowns again. I honestly really do think that offense is going to go through Zeke, even with these receivers and Dak Prescott. They're going to feed him. They're going to feed the beast. The dude has a chip on his shoulder. He came out and said that everybody's doubting him. Not that I don't think anybody really is, but I think he's more or less getting upset that these analysts and these people that are ranking him lower. Like I saw a couple rankings where he was at 5, and he was after Kamara. Barkley, what's his name? CMC. Oh my God, I can't think right now. But yeah, I don't know. I think Zeke, number 2 running back. Kev, what do you got for us?
Kamara at 3.
Alvin Kamara.
And in a full PPR, I mean, obviously not much of a drop off between the 2 guys, but I mean, Alvin Kamara, he missed 2 games last year. He still had 97 targets, 81 catches. And he was playing through multiple injuries, back, ankle, and knee. We were told by his running back coach. I mean, if you watch his workout videos, I mean, his balance is out of control, and you see that on the field. At the beginning of last year, he looked almost impossible to bring down. And then you could kind of see it shift over once he was banged up. He looked a lot easier to bring down. So I just think it obviously hinges on his health. But every 3 years in a row, 100 targets, 80 catches guaranteed, he's getting 80 catches. So in a full PPR, I have him ahead of Zeke because Zeke's receptions have gone down 3 years straight. And now they bring in another stud wide receiver. They have 3 of them. I mean, they could just air it out all day. Obviously, I like Zeke to get his touchdowns, but for me in a PPR, I'm sticking with Kamara. I don't see any reason why he's not going to catch 80 balls again. And if his touchdowns can regress, positively anywhere close to what they were 2 years ago, he had 14 rushing touchdowns. In 2018, last year he had 5.
I know, that's
If it can
insane.
if it can come anywhere back up, to double digits, that's why I got him at 3.
And they will.
I think that positive touchdown regression is there. Latavius Murray isn't good. The one thing you said that worried me was how much are they going to use Taysom Hill down there?
I think the
that can play a role, but
Taysom Hill is gonna
Right.
definitely gonna chew into Kamara's touches in the red zone for sure. I think Sean Payton even came out and said that they're gonna use him in the red zone specifically. Especially.
But
in
is
the
it
red
going to
zone.
be as a passer, or is he
I don't think
gonna
it
be
matters.
catching, running? I mean,
I-
you don't know.
I don't see them taking Drew Brees off the field, if that's what you're trying to ask. I mean, I think they bring Taysom Hill. I mean, what they do last year, they brought him in as a tight end, a receiver, a running back, a quarterback.
He's everywhere.
He was everywhere. The dude, Sean Payton loves him. He makes me a little nervous with Kamara in the red zone. I mean, obviously, I still like him. I mean, I would still be all right with him if I had a middle first round pick and I end up with Kamara. I'd be happy with it. I wouldn't be upset. But I would definitely be a little wary about Taysom Hill because of how much the Saints like him in the red zone. I mean, his ability to score in so many different positions is definitely understandable of why you would want him out there. But Kamara, I mean, you can't go wrong with Kamara. The boom is always there. He catches a ball out of the backfield, take it to the house, 80 yards.
His floor, 3 years in a row, 81 catches, all 3 years. I mean, that's kind of that's got to be his reception floor and ceiling right now.
And they gotta like
They don't
him.
really have anything else to go by.
They send Mark
And if
Ingram
he
on
can
his
rush,
way.
He can rush for 800 or 900 yards, get up to maybe 8 to 10 touchdowns. He's gonna have his 80 catches for 500 or 600 yards, a couple touchdowns. That's for me. Those are RB3 numbers. I mean, number 3.
I mean, they didn't really add any receivers this offseason.
They got Anders, but
yeah, but that's it. That's their second receiver. So I mean, Kamara's going to line up in the receiver spot as well. I think too.
right.
So
And Ginn is gone, so Sanders can get Ginn's targets, but Sanders isn't what he used to be, so he doesn't really worry me.
Traquan Smith, I think, is a wide receiver 3. So I mean,
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure all last year he didn't do anything.
right. They got Jameis too. Someone in the chat said, yeah, they got Jameis, all right.
Yeah.
But all right, I'm gonna dive into somebody that I love a lot. I've talked about him nonstop everywhere. I know it's you, Dave. I know. I love this guy. I know a lot of people out there probably do. But I am super high on Drake. He's moved up my rankings each week. I look at it, he moves up. I saw him move up on your rankings too, Kev. He's his situation right now is fantastic. Honestly, he has a ceiling to be in that tier 2 with Kamara, with those guys. But it's just last year when he joined Arizona, the 8 games he played, he had 170 attempts, 800 yards, and 8 touchdowns. That's insane. That's actually crazy to me. And he sat out, I think, 1 game because Chase Edmonds came in and went absolutely insane, who we'll talk about later. The Cardinals' offensive line, I think Pro Football Focus rated them second most improved in the offseason. I mean, and then they added DeAndre Hopkins on the outside, Kyle Murray. I mean, I could talk about Arizona all day. They're the new. I think Drake. Last year he finished running back 17. He needs a new contract. That's going to play a factor into how he plays. He doesn't want to renegotiate because I think he believes in himself that he's going to overproduce than what he would get paid right now. That offense is going to score. Cliff Kingsbury, new coach. He's going to want to score a lot. His offense is going to be fast. Drake's going to catch the ball. He's proved that he can catch the ball just fine. He had 68 targets, 50 yards. Some of that was in Miami though, but still, he was catching balls in Arizona. I like Drake a lot, man, a lot. And nothing really scares me. The workload's his. I mean, there's no one coming in competing with him. The red zone's his. Like wherever they are on the field, the only person who's going to come in for him is Chase Edmonds. That's going to be so he can take a breather. Drake's going to get fed the ball. The Cardinals love Drake. Drake loves the Cardinals. He came out and said he expects big things from Kyler Murray. That's huge to have confidence in your quarterback like that. I like Drake a lot. I got him number 10 right now, but that could easily go up, easily shoot up. He could sneak into top 5, breakout. He could definitely a breakout player potentially here. He's due. He got drafted really high out of college by Miami. Let's not forget that he was supposed to go to Miami and be the next big thing over there, and he had a little hiccup last year. Got traded like he wanted, and he's got his opportunity now to get paid next year. So I expect a big year from Drake this year just to get that money. That's what they all go for. So you like Drake? I know you do. You got him 9. You're gonna actually higher than I do, which is funny. But
yeah, I mean the more I looked at these guys and statted them out, I mean you got to put these guys who will be catching passes ahead of some of the guys I actually moved down out of my top 10. So
yeah,
I love Drake. I mean, last year when it was David Johnson, it was David Johnson. When it was the couple of games that it was Edmonds, it was Edmonds. And then when Drake came, it was Drake. They were featuring one guy.
Right.
Yeah, he's going to get it all.
Right. He wants.
And it should be a very good offer. I mean, I think, like you said, man, the sky's the limit.
Sky is the limit. It's pretty incredible how high he could potentially finish, and he's not getting picked. Just so people know, he's not getting picked until the bottom half of the first round. Which, I mean, if you have the 12th or 11th pick and he's sitting there, and you can snag Drake as your RB1, and then come back around, I mean, and potentially another running back, you're sitting pretty clean at running back with Drake. I think I would be very happy going into week 1 with Drake as my RB1. I wouldn't be too concerned. I don't think I would.
Say
if I had to
at
pick,
that turn, you could probably go like Drake Jacobs,
right?
Drake Chubb.
You could pair him with another good
That's
running
dangerous.
back. I actually have him above Chubb. I have him above. I think I have one below Jacobs. I think Jacobs is my 9, but I would just to put a comparison. I would take Drake over Devontae Adams. I would take Drake over pretty much any wide receiver besides Thomas, but I don't think Thomas will get that far. And I would take him over both quarterbacks. We got some guy that we're friends with that is like obsessed with Lamar, and he's taking him first round and stuff. Don't ever do that. Drake's there, take Drake. Mm-hmm. If any running back's there, take the running back. They prove like if you don't have good running backs, you're not gonna win. You're not. You can dabble into the playoffs, but you will not come out without running backs. But yeah, I love Drake this year, and I'll keep talking about Drake till opening day. So yeah, check out his player spotlight though. I got it on Instagram. I talked about him last week. I think it was Saturday. I talked about him. So, all right, Kev, what do you got for us?
I got the other guy that really flew up my rankings.
Yeah, same.
And it's Miles Sanders. I mean, he's at the end of last year, week 11 to 16, when he was featured after Jordan Howard was hurt, and I mean they weren't rushing him back by any means. He was RB3 in PPR leagues, and that was with Boston Scott still getting 9 touches a game. So I mean, he was featured. He had 50 catches for 500 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 818 rushing yards, only 3 touchdowns. He was the RB15 in PPR leagues, and he scored 3 rushing touchdowns.
Mm-hmm.
Now this year, you don't have Jordan Howard there, and they missed out on Carlos Hyde. So I mean, now the goal line work belongs to Sanders. I mean, obviously you're going to get a decent amount of Ertz and Goddard touchdowns down there, but I mean, there's no way he finishes with less than 3 rushing touchdowns. I mean, then that number's going up.
Yeah. Yeah, the backfield, just like Drake, the backfield's his. You know, he's got talented guys behind him.
119 rushing attempts last year from Jordan Howard, and that's gone now. It's all going to Sanders. You know, Boston Scott will be in there a little bit.
Yeah.
But I don't see him really cutting into Miles Sanders' workload, and he proved that he's a very good pass catcher. I'm really high on him this year. They need weapons there. We really have no idea what's going on with their receiving situation.
Yeah, we're kind of in the blind.
I have Sanders at 7 now, I think.
Oh, you adjusted it again?
He's right at it's whatever you have put on the screen. Or
8.
Where I have.
He's at
7 or 8.
But yeah, I got him at
actually,
9.
I'm projected for 277 fantasy points this year. So
I mean,
I think he's a stud.
I was high on Sanders last year. I took him early. I think we were just talking about how I don't
Right.
take rookie running
You
backs.
actually traded him for me.
I traded him to
That
you?
was huge. You did
Yeah, so he
in the league that I won.
so he's a stud, man. I like Sanders. I mean, I saw it last year in I took him early in our league. Um I believe I did. Yeah, I did. Third. I think I got him in the 3rd round. I went into the season him as my RB2. Was very disappointed in that because he didn't really start off hot because they had Howard. But then once the season got along and Howard started to get banged up and they let Miles Sanders take control, that you saw it then that they have faith in this kid. He's gonna be a stud. He's got breakout potential, just like Drake. He could easily be a top 5 running back as well. But that's a combo. If you got 12th, that's a combo that could be there for you. You could end up with Drake and Sanders. That's, I think out of all the years that I played fantasy football, this year having the last pick in the draft, I wouldn't be too worried about it. I would actually
Honestly,
be.
I want to be near the turn.
Yeah, the turn. A lot of these guys are gonna slip. A lot of these guys are gonna fall because these big names, and then you got guys in your league who are gonna take players just because, history, and it's gonna be a mistake by them. But at the end of the day, you're gonna end up paying big, getting some big wins here with these guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if the Eagles go and bring in Devontae Freeman, that kind of kills everything.
No, I don't think so at all.
I
don't think so at all.
I mean, I still love him, but you got to move him down a little bit, right?
No, I just keep him top 10. They got to use Sanders. If they wanted to bring in Devontae Freeman, what's he gonna do? They already
probably would have done it already.
Yeah, that and I mean.
I think they wanted Hyde and they didn't get.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't understand why you'd want a solid, because Sanders did get a little banged up last year because Boston Scott came in and he had a couple games where he popped off. But I could see why you want to get a little bit of insurance. I don't think Freeman would bite into anything that Sanders produces. This is Sanders' team. He's the future of the Eagles running back. He would
vulture a couple downs.
Maybe. I still think.
Wouldn't be into his passing down.
I mean, even if he comes, I still think Boston Scott ranks higher on the depth chart. I think Boston Scott proved a lot to the Eagles last year. But yeah, like you said, the receiving core over there is a little strange this year. We know they got Goddard and Ertz, the 2 tight ends, the 2 monsters. But outside of that, you don't really know what they got for the receivers. So Sanders could easily see a bunch of targets out of the backfield, close to the numbers we saw with like Leonard Fournette last year, the 100 targets. Like stuff like that could happen. That's wrong, Ditchy. They know how to use running backs. Brian Westbrook was an RB1 over there for a long time. Jay Ajayi was an RB1 for them. Did he go there? No, he was Miami. I'm sorry. I don't think that's true. I think the Eagles know how to use running backs. What they don't know how to do is keep receivers healthy. But yeah, they got 2 good blocking tight ends. I like it. I like Sanders a lot. Good call, Kev. Good guy to talk about. You did a spotlight on him too, right? Was he the spotlight this week? Yeah. So definitely go check that out on Instagram as well. Last week, sorry. Yeah, last week. So moving on, we'll talk real quick. I'll show you guys the top 10 again real quick. Get that down just so you guys can see. Yeah, like I said, I got some guys outside of the top 10. I talked a lot about Lev Bell, who I actually just recently took that out of my top 10. He's underneath Drake right now at 11. That's another guy I'd be all right with as an RB2 this year. Just to mention some guys real quick that neither of us have in our top 10s, but definitely don't forget about their names. I don't think you really can. But you got Lev Bell, Nick Chubb, both outside of our top 10s right now. Austin Eckler, James Conner, guys like that. Like you can't really forget about them. Melvin Gordon, even, But moving on to the next topic, Kev. What do we got?
Going into the values or the sleepers.
The sleepers, dude. Let's go to the sleepers first. Let's get some sleeper action in here. We'll dive in. I'll dive in. I'll go first. I'll talk more about the Cardinals because I like to talk about the Cardinals. I'll talk about Chase Edmonds real quick. Chase Edmonds came on the field last year. Didn't play a lot. He started 2 games when David Johnson and Drake wasn't on the. Was Drake on the team yet? I don't think so. But he had 60 attempts, 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. 21 targets, 12 catches, 105 yards and a touchdown. The kid's an athlete. The Cardinals like him. He's been on the team. This will be his 3rd year. He carved a role out last year. He's going to be Drake's handcuff. So that's a guy you got to have. He proved that he can be a very good producing running back, at least an RB2 if Drake were to ever get hurt. At the very least, an RB2. I think potentially, if this offense can really boom, like I think it's gonna, he might be able to be a flex play for you some weeks, depending who they're playing. But I mean, that's all depending on their offense. But he's a guy you need to write down. He's a guy you need to pick. If you do end up with Drake, you need to get Chase Edmonds. I mean, like I said, I still think he sees the field, Kev. I don't think you can keep a guy like this off the field. He showed it last year.
Even if he doesn't, he's a guy you want to grab in the back end of the drafts. He's one of those guys like Tony Pollard, Alexander Madison. There's only a few guys that could win your league.
He could be a league winner.
He's one of them.
Yeah.
He's gonna absolutely pop off if something happens to Drake. He should get all the work. I mean, there's only a few of those guys, and I'm forgetting guys like Edmonds, Tony Pollard, Alexander Madison, the 3 that I mentioned.
Yeah.
I'd target them over a lot of other, like a Kerryon Johnson. I mean, what is Kerryon really going to do for your team?
Right.
Nothing.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, when we talk about sleepers, these are guys that you really can't sleep on just because they got a guy like Drake in front of them on the depth chart. This guy could easily be, like I said, at the least an RB2. And in this offense, he could very well be an RB1 if Drake ever were to get hurt. And that could be a league winner come the end of the year. Come week 14, Drake gets hurt or gets COVID-19. Who knows? Something like that happens. You got Chase Edmonds in your back pocket. This dude could light it up for you, man. He's fast. He's quick. He breaks tackles. He jukes guys out. He catches the ball very well. So, I mean, he might even get the catching down back. I mean, he might come out in the field on 3rd downs. Who knows? We don't really know yet. We'll know when training camp comes around a little bit what the strategy is going to be with Chase Edmonds. But don't sleep on Edmonds. Definitely put him down, write him down, get him in your back pocket because he's a guy that I would like to have. Even if I don't have Drake, it's a guy I'd like to have. Kev, what you got for us? You got a little Matt Breida action for us?
A little Matt Breida action. We'll keep it short and sweet on Matt Breida.
Okay.
I'm calling him a sleeper. I mean, right now he's running back 42 off the board. So I think he's probably like the last running back that you could take that could potentially lead his backfield touches. So that's why it's a sleeper. Jordan Howard, he's just slow. Howard will probably get the goal line work, but Breida explosive, man. I mean, we saw it. When he could stay on the field, he'd rip off a 20-yard run and then hobble to the side of it. And then he'd come back in the game and he'd do the same thing over and over. 5-yard per carry guy, one of the fastest running backs, if not the fastest running back in the league. And they threw the ball 118 times with running backs last year in Miami.
That's a lot.
118 RB targets. And Ballage, I mean, where's Kalen Ballage? If he's still on the roster, he won't be soon.
Oh, God.
I mean, Mark Walton, I think he's in jail. We're looking at Breida Howard and Patrick Laird will probably be
I forgot about Patty Laird,
Patrick
bro.
Laird is there, but I like Breida to get himself some targets. And he can catch passes. He caught 27 a couple years ago in San Fran when he ran for 800 yards. And I mean, he was splitting work with everybody in San Francisco because that's what they do.
Yeah.
And there was Mostert there, Jeff Wilson was there. But now that he's in a different system.
Hold on, Kev. Hold on, I got an interruption here. What's up, baby?
Dada?
Yes. Going to bed?
Mom won't let me stay up for a minute.
It's okay. Can I kiss goodnight? Mwah. All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Sorry. That's a nightly thing there. All right. Go ahead.
Good shit. So, yeah. I think in this system where we're not going to be splitting the work with 4 guys, it just emerges as obviously the more talented guy. He could even might even be able to eat into some of that goal line work from Jordan Howard. I'm not really sure how things will go down in Miami. But if he can just stay on the field, guy who's being drafted, I mean, he's being drafted behind Darius Geis. Yeah, I don't want nothing to do with that dude, man.
Yeah, I'm good with guys. That hype is long
Pretty
gone.
sure he's even being drafted. He's being drafted behind Sony Michel, who was part of a 4 running back committee and was just absolutely terrible last year.
Yeah.
So I would rather have Breida than those guys at RB 42. Don't sleep on him. He's explosive.
I agree. All right. So next up, we're gonna do a little differently this week. Last week did 2 sleepers. This week we're gonna do a sleeper and a deep sleeper. Somebody that's probably gonna go undrafted in a lot of leagues, but someone that you could snag with your last pick in the draft and ends up being a producer for you. And for me, that's gonna be Damian Harris today. Damian Harris didn't see the field last year for the New England Patriots, but they spent some good draft capital on him. Sony Michel, very unproductive runner. He struggles every year. He gets worse and worse every year. He can't score in the red zone. He never got over 100 yards last year. I understand that there's a lot of competition in that backfield for touches with Rex Burkhead, James White, Sony Michel, and now you got Cam Newton running the ball in the end zone. And even if Jarrett Stidham's the starting quarterback, he can still run the ball too. But Damian Harris, to me, the Patriots drafted him with the intent of him taking over the running back duties from Sony Michel. They're not going to extend Sony Michel after his rookie deal. Rex Burkhead just took a pay cut. James White's an exclusive passing down running back who will get utilized. But I see Damian Harris stepping in and taking the starting job from Sony Michel, at least in the early downs, first and second down, because I don't think Michel is going to last the season. I really don't. I don't see him. He's injury prone, number 1. Number 2, he stinks, like I just said. I mean, his numbers are terrible. He's getting picked. He's getting picked late. Some people saying he's a value pick, Sony Michel, but I would rather have
keep him in his yards per carry.
Yeah, I'd rather have Damian Harris over to Sony Michel, even if he doesn't play till week 4 or 5. Damian Harris can make some noise. The whole preseason is gonna hurt him a little bit, I think, but he had a whole year last year to learn the playbook, to learn the offense, to learn the offensive line. The Patriots have always been a run-heavy team for the most part. They don't not run heavy. I don't want to say that, but they've been a very friendly with the run game. They don't mind running the ball. They don't mind taking over a game with the run. So I like Damian Harris this year as a very deep sleeper. I'm not saying this guy's going to pop off, be a top 10 running back, top 25 running back, but he could easily take over the starting job in New England from Sony Michel, who's a bum. Maybe not Rex Burkhead, but you never know. Rex Burkhead gets hurt a lot. He could easily slide in. He could be a flex play for you come near the end of the year, or even a running back too, depending on how Newton runs with this offense. So I like Damian Harris. I can't really talk about stats because he didn't play last year, but it's a guy you need to write down. If you walk away, you got everything solidified in your draft. The last round comes around, he's sitting there. I wouldn't be sad to take him. You, Kev?
I like Harris. I mean, he's not even. I don't think he's being drafted right now.
No, he's not. That's why he's deep sleeping.
You can definitely grab him. You can grab him and dash him on the bench. Because you're probably right. Sony Michel, we saw it last year. He's terrible. He couldn't convert from the goal line, and he just had another off-season surgery.
He did. You're right about that. Yep.
He had another surgery. I mean, he's had injuries. I'm staying far away from Michel, Burkhead. There was the one guy I would take the shot on. It's Harris. So.
Yeah. All right. Then your deep sleeper you talked about on Instagram this week, and that's Antonio Gibson. A lot of people are high on this guy. Tell us why you're high on him, bro.
Yeah, I mean, so he's probably gonna get drafted, or at least with the sleeper rankings, he's being drafted in like one of the last 2 or 3 rounds.
Yeah.
But I mean, basically what we saw from him at Memphis last year is just a great blend of size and speed, and he had 369 rushing yards on only 33 attempts. and he caught 38 balls for 735 yards.
You're going robot.
I mean, he totaled 1,100 yards on only 71 touches. Oh, am I frozen?
No, you're good. Go ahead.
All right. He had 12 touchdowns, 1,100 yards on 71 touches. So, I mean, you can get the ball in his hands. He's going to make things happen. And there's just nobody there in Washington besides Terry McLaurin, who I love. But, I mean, Geis, he's trash. Well, not trash. I just don't think he's going to be able to stay on the field. Been 2 years in a row. I just don't have high hopes for it. Adrian Peterson, I just think he's getting to the tail end of his career.
Yeah.
Chris Thompson is gone. That's a ton of targets out the window. And now they lost another wide receiver. So, I mean, outside of Terry McLaurin, there's targets, there's cap available. And if they can get the ball in this guy's hand, he's a fun little dart throw on the end of your bench. He's the kind of high upside guy that I like to stash.
He's he can catch the ball very well. Very well.
He was a wide receiver. He was listed as a wide receiver in college, and now he's a running back.
Yeah, no, he can catch the ball.
But, I mean, they can line him up all over.
He's very explosive. Very explosive. I'm excited to see this kid. I think, like every rookie, though, it's tough to share with this whole no preseason. Who knows what else will happen, but Gibson definitely has the potential to take over that spot over in Washington. They got nobody.
I mean, in his case, the thing is, they don't have anybody.
Nobody.
I mean, even Geis hasn't really played, so.
And look at
Adrian Peterson's like the only guy with experience. Terry McLaurin's only got 1 year.
And Ron Rivera came out and said he's got a lot of comparison to CMC as a pass catcher. That's big.
Right.
That's big, man. That's big because Rivera. That's
I mean, that could just be that could be coach speak, but to compare him to Christian McCaffrey, I mean that's wild. I think they will line him up all over the place, and he could be a sneaky guy.
Yeah, I like him. Now we're going to dive into the bust real quick. I'll go first with Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I don't necessarily think he's a bust, but I'm gonna compare it to where he's getting drafted. He's going in the high second round right now. To me, that is way too high for a rookie running back. Especially with what's going on. And then you had the coaching staff come out and say that Damian Williams is still the starting running back, and they like him a lot, which makes me even more nervous to take Edwards-Helaire that early in the draft. No preseason. The coaching staff praising Damian Williams. He was good. He was great in college. He was the first running back taken in the NFL draft. I get that. But the Kansas City Chiefs offense is pretty solid already to begin with. I don't know. I just don't think I would take him in the second round. That's more or less where I'm calling it a bust. I don't think he produces those kind of numbers this year. If you're in a dynasty league, throw this all out the window, take him. But for this year in a redraft, there's no way. I'm staying away from pretty much every rookie running back after I heard the news today. But I mean, especially Clyde Edwards-Helaire, I think he's going way too early. I know a lot of people out there like him. I'm not, like I just said, I don't think he's going to be terrible. I think he's still going to produce. He's going to get looks. I mean, obviously, you draft him in the first round. He's not going to have that hype that Darwin Thompson had last year and come out and lay a goose egg. But he's still going to be, I would be wary when drafting him that early. If he does slip to you maybe the third or the fourth round, all right, I'll take him there. But to have, a coaching staff come out and praise the running back that's been there and has, the compatibility with Patrick Mahomes already, and has proved that he can be a running back every down. Not that his numbers were great last year, because he was hurt a lot last year, but he's proved that he can be if he needs to be. So I would just stay away from Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That early in the draft, second round pick, that's way too early for me. There's a lot of other guys out there that I would rather have, like Lev Bell. Players that are proved that they're going to produce you some numbers, especially coming into a COVID kind of a year. Yeah. What about you, Kev? I know you like him.
Yeah, I like him because of the offense that he's on.
Yeah. And
the things they can do. I mean, they can do things that no one else in the league's doing. So, but I think you're right. Honestly, is like mid to end second round at this point, and pretty sure ADP's creeped up to, and that might be a little early for my taste.
Yeah, that's too early for me.
You know, the guys out there like Bell and Gurley. I mean, I wouldn't take them there, but I'd probably just take a wide receiver.
Yeah, something else that could produce numbers, even like a tight end. Even if you could walk away with Travis Kelce, George Kittle, Zach Ertz, one of those guys, I take them all day over Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And that's just saying, I'm not saying I would. Just if there's a receiver there that's better than that too, I would take that. So next, talk about Chris Carson.
All right, yeah, so this one isn't necessarily like numbers based. I mean, he was good last year until he broke his hip, but I mean, this is a couple of red flags for me with Carson, and I'm probably just not going to take him anywhere this year. I mean, the injuries are starting to pile up. A couple of years ago, he broke his leg. Last year, it's his hip, and he's also fumbled 10 times in the last 2 years. And he did find himself in the doghouse a little bit last year. When he was in that doghouse, Rashad Penny was on the field, and Penny actually looked really, really good last year.
Yeah.
And I know he's going to start the season on the pup, but when he comes back, I mean, I would not be surprised to see Penny out there more than Carson. I think he looked really good last year. They signed Carlos Hyde. It's another red flag for me. Just another veteran bruiser back. And they drafted a running back.
And they got Travis Homer.
Yeah, Travis Homer. Yeah, I'm going to mention Travis Homer too because last year it was him in beast mode at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
The only 2 running backs on the roster, and Homer looked good. So there's a lot going on in that backfield now. There's a lot of names, a lot of mouths to feed, and Carson, if he's a little slowed down by that hip, or I mean, if he fumbles, that could be it. The job might not be his anymore. And just with someone like that, who could, your season, your fantasy season's hinging on a guy's hip.
Because a lot of
a fumbling issue. There's some guys I'd just rather take over Carson or a wide receiver. Definitely where he's being drafted.
Yeah.
Definitely I'd go wide receiver there.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm probably just going to stay away from Carson this year.
People have probably drafted Carson to be the RB2 on their team, and I think that's a mistake. So I'm going to agree with you on this.
Probably wait a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And grab somebody else.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on what rankings you're using, but I mean, I'd rather have, Gurley, Melvin Gordon, Lev Bell, or Chris Carson. I know some people probably have him ranked ahead of them, but I'm going to stay away.
For sure. Next, we got Leonard Fournette. Last year, Leonard Fournette actually had his best year as a fantasy running back. However, the numbers he produced were very lopsided, in my opinion. When I was looking back on it, he had a crazy amount of targets, 100 targets, which is insane to me for a running back. I mean, that's Christian McCaffrey had 120 something, I think, maybe a little more than that. But still, for a guy like Fournette, not known for pass catching, getting that many targets, there's no way that's going to reproduce this year. I mean, they brought Chris Thompson in, so that's gone right there. That's gone. So that's 76 points right there, gone. And then he had 3 games last year where he had over 100 yards. That's it. He only had 3 touchdowns on the ground. I don't like where Fournette's getting picked right now. He is a fringe RB2 in my opinion. I don't want anything to do with the Jaguars in general. Maybe dab and DJ Chark here and there, but I stay away from Leonard Fournette. Chris Thompson coming in is really going to hurt his production through the air. So, I mean, and Raquel Armstead is not a bad running back as either. Fournette, I don't know. I don't like the way the things are going in Jacksonville. I honestly don't even see Fournette on the team at the end of this year. He might get traded away. So if you're drafting Fournette, just be very wary about Chris Thompson coming in. Fournette had 76 points just from catches last year. That's not going to happen this year. Maybe 25 points from catching. So that's 50 points less. That easily puts him into the tier 3 running backs. RB3 flex range. And, not to mention the 3 games he had were huge games. So it makes his numbers flooded more than they should be. And, so I mean, he had 200 something yards against Denver and 130 something against Cincinnati, and he only had 1,100 total. So yeah, stay away from Fournette in my opinion. I'm not a big fan of him at all, especially in a terrible team like Jacksonville. Next, Kevin's got. What's up? I'm just gonna jump into your next one here. Raheem Mostert, someone that I loved about a week ago.
Yeah, I think everybody did, and I mean now at this point, I mean this one's a cheap one because you can't really call him a bust anymore. 'Cause now his ADP reflects the uncertainty. But I'll just talk about it anyway. I mean the Shanahan system is plug and play. Any running back can go in there and put up numbers.
Yeah.
And I know Mostert looked really good last year, but there's just a lot of uncertainty now. We have no idea what's going on. Is he going to get traded? Probably not, but is he going to see the field as much as he did last year? Who knows? I think they could replicate the success with a combination of Holman, Jeff Wilson.
Yeah, just to put into comparison, he went from my number 10 running back to number 45. So
yeah, he dropped weight on everybody's ranking. That's why it's tough to call him a bust now.
No.
I'm just gonna stay away unless we get some kind of
clarity
on the situation. I'm gonna
hold
off on taking Mostert.
What I did see is that they met him and the 49ers and met to clear the air about the trade requests and stuff. So maybe that'll help his stock a little bit. But yeah, I agree. I was high on Mostert. I made a crazy prediction that at least I didn't have to go the whole year and then find out week 1 that he's not playing. You know what I mean? At least I know now.
I just think, 2 years ago, Breida had 800 yards in that offense. I mean, they can just plug whoever they want in there.
Yeah.
So it gives me a little bit.
But
anybody can average 5 yards per carry behind that O-line right now. And, you got Kittle there, absolute monster.
Yeah. All right.
I'm going to stay away.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna jump into a quick little segment here. Our value picks. These are guys that are getting kind of picked really late in our opinion. They could be picked higher, but if you can walk away with them and where they're getting picked, it's a win for you. It's a great value pick. I'll go first. James Conner. James Conner right now I got him at 19. Kevin's got him at 22. He's getting drafted as the RB 23 right now overall. That puts him in like the fringe RB2 range. Flex area. I think he's a solid RB2 if he can stay healthy, which is a big if, because he gets hurt every year. But, he's playing for money this year. They're not bringing him back. So whatever he produces this year is going to go into what he makes next year from another team. So, if you've ever heard that story from an NFL player, it usually means they're going to have a big year. If you can walk away with James Conner in the 5th or 6th round, to me that's an insane value right now. Especially if you're going receiver heavy or if you're taking the zero running back approach that a lot of people are trying to do now. Conner, he was a first round draft pick last year, wasn't he? In fantasy, people were wicked high on Conner, and I don't see how you can't be. In 10 games, he had 400 yards and he had 34 catches. That's good numbers in 10 games. So. And Big Ben's back. That's going to open the offense more too. So they're not going to rely solely on James Conner this year, like they were last year in the games he played. I believe, honestly, wholeheartedly believe last year. I think the Steelers got him in the doghouse a little bit, but he's the best running back on that depth chart. He's an RB2 in my opinion. If you can walk away with him in the 5th or 6th round, like I said, that's a steal. It's a value pick. It's a value pick. You can't really go wrong, honestly. And if you're nervous about him getting hurt, take his handcuff, I guess. But Steelers as a whole are going to be a better team than they were last year, and they weren't even that bad last year. So, yeah. And then Kev, you got Ronald Jones.
Yeah, I'm taking Bojo here. A lot of people just can't get over the fact that he barely played his year and looked terrible. So it left a bad taste in people's mouths. But he was actually really good last year. Yeah, he had 724 yards, 6 touchdowns. He had 40 targets, 31 catches, and Peyton Barber's gone. That's 154 carries and 24 targets out of the offense. That's another guy I'm seeing just ranked too low.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady comes in, and he's not going to turn the ball over 33 times. So they're going to finish more drives. Rojo, I see him having a goal line work.
Yeah, there's
And
no way he doesn't.
I see him taking most of those Peyton Barber carries. I don't think Keyshawn Vaughn's going to come in and have 150 carries. He might cut into the targets a little bit, but he's being drafted as the RB31 right now. If you get a guy who's getting,
That's crazy.
he could get 200 touches and goal line work, and he's being another guy who I saw Darius Geis ranked ahead of on somebody's rankings. And I mean, this is a Tom Brady football team. We know that running backs can succeed there, especially when it's really only Rojo and Vaughn. I also don't see Barre really having too much work there. So
Yeah.
I think there is a lot of value.
Yeah. I'd be comfortable taking Jones as an RB2, if I'm going to be honest. They got rid of Peyton Barber. They let him walk. He's going to be the goal line back, so I see great value as well in that.
And I mean, it's not like he can't catch the ball.
Right.
He had 31 catches last year. I think that, and Bruce Arians didn't even use David Johnson when he was a rookie. And he was an elite talent. So I don't see Vaughn just coming in and taking all this work from Ronald Jones.
Yeah, no. I mean, the Bucks
actually looked really good.
The Bucks as a whole are going to be a completely different team this year without Jameis Winston. They got Tom Brady instead. So I don't see how he's not an RB2 this year and where he's getting picked.
I see him definitely easily cracking into the top 24 to be an RB2.
Yeah.
There's no reason he shouldn't. He's a starting running back on a team with a great offense. I mean, I think he's definitely being slept on a little bit. And if you believe in these off-season hype pieces, there is a video of him running up hills in the desert where it's like 1,000 degrees in Arizona.
I saw that.
Some freak stuff like Derrick Henry's out there doing. So, I mean, if you're into those sort of things, he's out there doing.
Yeah, he said he's
working hard.
He moved out to Arizona to live with his trainer so he can train throughout the whole COVID thing.
He's added muscle.
You know who likes that kind of shit?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady likes that kind of shit. I like Ronald Jones.
Tom Brady.
This is a good pick
I
here,
like him a
Kev.
lot, man.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable having him as my RB2.
Yeah.
Or at the flex, RB2, whatever. I mean,
You could honestly
low.
go receiver heavy and walk away with Ronald Jones as your RB2. I mean, I'd be happy.
I'd be happy with it.
Yeah, I'd be happy. But that's going to wrap it up for today. We wanted to keep it nice and short for you guys. Last week we almost hit 2 hours, so we're at an hour now. So we're going to cap it right there. Just going to end the show. If anybody's in the chat right now and want to ask a quick question, we'll answer it for you. If not, it's cool. You can always comment on our Instagram post. I'm going to start posting on Facebook as well. This video will be posted live on YouTube tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. That you can find that just searching the Fantasy Dads on YouTube. We got a merch just dropped in the store. You could buy a t-shirt with our logo on it, or you could buy a sticker with our logo on it, which is cool. I think it's $20. I haven't really looked into it too much, to be honest. But we're also going to be doing a mock draft show. Dates to be determined, possibly this Saturday. We'll keep you informed on that. But if you guys enjoy the show, make sure you let us know. All love is welcome. Make sure you follow the Instagram page. I just dropped it right there. Guys, thank you guys again for coming by today. It was fun.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Yeah, this has been a fun thing for me and Kev to do, man. We love fantasy football, and I love streaming, so I figured why not combine the two. So here we are. We'll catch you guys next week, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Kev, you got any words before we go? Any tip?
A quick little tip is I just don't think this is the year to try to do the zero RB strategy. The tier drop off is crazy. Grab one of your studs early and you can get them.
There you go. There's the word from the wise. Guys, see you guys next week. We talk about receivers. Stay tuned on the Instagram story. Love you guys. Thank you.
Later.